45-13. Okay. Oh, we've got one of those fast people. And this is the same sort of situation that we don't like playing as black. So I think I'm going to try and practice it. Oh, come on. Bullet man. Should have known. They didn't want to play a 45-minute, 13-second game, speed at which they were playing. I was just about to practice that thing. I'm probably going to be wrong as well, but in certain circumstances, certain positions aren't always the same. It's not always the same move order. You know, the pattern might look the same, but there's always either a piece not there or something. They're not starting. What is going on here? So what I'll do is just change the parameters, as we mentioned, because when you get silly people on. So we'll go 45-14. And start another one. This is the final game. Trying to put the over the board thinking into these games. The things that make me kind of panic and stressed up. Not stressed, but oh, come on, quicker. They're gonna blob. Let's develop the knight, attacking the pawn. Queen is out early. This is where we will push here. And then we would take the pawn. And then we would bring the queen here. Just putting a 2-on-1. If this position occurred, obviously. Their bishop comes out to defend it, obviously. That makes sense. Then bishop comes to attack the queen. The queen's saying, I don't want to move off of this line because I want to get the cheapie in at some point when you go on castle kingside. It's actually going for the exchange, so he's gonna, no, he's not doubling the pawns, the bishop's here. And in this situation, I would take ages over the move, thinking, oh, should I just take it or not? You know, yeah, I'm developing their piece for them. Maybe I should do something arty, like put a check on their king here, you know, but then it just blocked down. And am I wasting time moving backwards and forwards? But I'm taking the queen off the board. That arty field needs to go, especially over the board. Nothing bad has happened, so I need to just go for king safety. I'm not going to bait a pawn. I do like baiting the pawn. If the knight comes, then we can double the pawns, but I think they will not want to double. And then we can bring the bishop back. Simple chess, not overthinking anything. And I think one of the weird things for me is I just constantly think, yes, so you've gone castle, but they're just going to come steaming in at you somehow, you know. And I kind of make moves based off of, well, just because you castle doesn't mean you're safe, and you could see them start moving the pieces towards your king area, and it adds a little bit of panic to you where really you shouldn't have any panic. So I'm going to go here. It's attacking this pawn. And we will castle. It's a long way off of any potential damage being done to us. Case in point, now they're starting to push the pawns down. Over the board, I'm thinking, am I going to castle on the king side now? Now they're starting to chomp in at here. Yep. I'll probably bring this knight out, looking to queen side castle, but then he's got his bishop trained in on this. So it's going to damage my pawn structure anyway, then the bishop's going to be coming here like this. And then when I've taken those games back home, castling is not a problem because they're overextending their pawns as it is. They have to break down your castle to get in there. They've not castled yet, so it looks like they're castling queenside. So let's get castled. too much time spent thinking about, oh, I potentially could do this. Like we said, look, pushing down, pushing down. But we're going to prove a point to ourselves that we don't need to worry about any of that type of stuff. I'm going to move the king just to make some space for knight moves if we're going to be developing, and just bringing stuff around, and then maybe putting pressure towards the pawn area here. Very mindful, they haven't really developed their pieces, so we don't have anything to worry about. And 9 times out of 10, when opponents start pushing towards my king, like they're doing now, it is lazy man's chess. But why should I worry about lazy man's chess? It's doing nothing to us at all. We're going to move the knight. Not ignoring what they're doing, we're preparing ourselves as far as I'm concerned, appropriately. Because I'm sick and tired of overly respecting the opponent's attacks, the opponent's defenses, whatever, counter-attacks, etc. That's going to change. No, it has changed. Never mind, it's going to change. Let's have a look now positively. So they've stopped the attack on this side here with the little pawns. And we're now looking for the magic breakthrough positions. And they will be given to us. We just have to time things just right. Let's leave the king area for now. Could go here, doubles the pawns. Could hit their pawn. It's just going to push down. Could go like this to go like this. I'm actually going to do that. Nice and simple chess. Any more extensions that they've got going on? Because now really their king hasn't got a castle to work with. And so we've made that space to bring the knight here. I'm not going to over calculate that in any way, shape at this moment in time. Still in my head, struggling to see how they're going to break through, while we're looking to see whether we can do some damage to them. This knight is currently protecting this pawn for some strange reason. We were going to hit this pawn as we mentioned earlier. Doesn't have to take, it can just push past. So they're just jumping from side to side to side with the pawns at the moment. So I'm hoping that with them not working their pieces together, then they may struggle. So they have pushed. Now we have options. Before I do the knee-jerk reaction of pushing the pawn, I'm just thinking, do I really want to block in my bishop? Would it do something like this and then like this? But their knight can just come here and attack it. Just look a bit arty, doesn't it, that? There, bishop. Maybe the knight comes to attack, or maybe the rook attacks it. And then we push the pawn onto their bishop. Bishop takes, we take. Well, the bishop just moves out of the way. And then his knight moves and attacks the bishop. So we're going to lose the pawn because the knight will take, pawn takes, rook takes. That's a longer term thing. Or simply just pushing the pawn onto the bishop sends it back. Kind of locking it in the back a little bit. But then it's also locking our bishop out of the game. He might beat us to the punch and do that instead. Is that going to hurt us? We can hit this pawn, he drops. We go here. Excuse me. What can be done? Hit, no. I'm gonna hit with the small piece. Kind of the first move we were thinking of right before we did all that major calculation. May as well. This white square bishop has got a little bit of space to attack their bishop. Knight takes. Doesn't have to take, of course. Doesn't take. And we have the option of taking the knight, not getting this pawn just yet. Would look to be getting the rooks on the file. It's just have the bishops protecting that area. Anything weak at the moment? They are stuck on the back, but I suppose in a way we're stuck on the back. Could hit the pawn like we said, but again, just dropping here. We can hit this pawn. Goes for yeah, I think we're going to go with this pawn. Yep. We will go with that. It looks like this player's left the game as well. It would have been nice to see these ones go through to the end, because there's nothing clear. You know, you have to be able to practice these types of end games, because you could make one wrong maneuver and it's all over. We felt quite good in terms of position on the board and trying to nullify what the opponent was attempting to do, but also we wanted to make some strength in our own moves, not just overly respecting the fact that they're attacking our king area, but not under respecting it either. They are back. Okay, they have made a move. They've moved the knight. Could go for a lockdown type position with the pawns, or we could take, because we like to obliterate, just give the bishop this, or probably the bishop, because it's going to be attacking the rook. Gives the rook the excuse to come here. Does have this type of situation. Okay. We said we can just push. Or bishop is got space, but not space. Tempting to just take, but because their bishop is so locked in, you just think, well, why would you give them that ability to get back into the game and have a stronghold in the game, kind of making you move, and it can sit here and stuff, and it's giving it play, isn't it? Is there anything else? Knight feels a bit redundant. Maybe bring this knight here. We were thinking they were going to do en passant, but they didn't. I'm actually going for simple and keeping everything locked in. White square bishop's not going anywhere. Dark square bishop's not going anywhere. Basics of chess. Overthinking, trying to be too hard with all these other things. Let's just keep it as simple as possible. And this is where that dryness comes in. You know, it kind of smacks of the old way I used to play, which is that Stonewall sort of mentality. And I just call it dry because it's not that. It's not. You know, you want to put a bit of flair in there sometimes, but I think playing over the board, you want to kind of knock the flair on the head a little bit and try and use a bit of basically common sense in the moves. So the bishop's now wanted to try and make some space, probably coming here to get rid of our bishop. So they took that long break and now they're coming back like Superman. Let's go here with the rook maybe, because now this is all jammed in. We might as well bring the rook on the file. Okay, the push like we said. Can leave it, or you can just keep locking it down. Thought the bishop was going to come. Anything else? I don't think we're taking. But is there any credence in taking? Just have this pawn here. We take. Rook takes. On the bishop. Knight's protecting the bishop. Again, it's one of those situations where, you know, like how we had with this pawn here, it's kind of locking everything in. I think the onus is on them. If they do take and then take, then we have the option of taking the rook, or the rook will be taking here. I don't think that's too much of a problem for us. I think we'll just leave it like that and leave it for them to say, well, are you going to take or not? It's always tempted to try and push here, but then it's just going to open up the king area. We push this way, does take, maybe the knight takes, but it's giving them a bit of space here. Anything else? This pawn's got no protection, we can't get to it. I think I'm going to move the knight. Not got anywhere to go really because everywhere's jammed down. I'm going to move the knight. And they've locked it down, which is okay for us. I suppose it's okay for them at some point. But the dark square bishop's not really getting in the game currently. Ours isn't either, obviously. You know, it's nobody's getting in anywhere. It's a total lockdown fest. So now we can move our knight again, but where is it realistically going? About the bishop. It's these crucial stages now. Is it proper locked down, or is there a way in? Is there a break? All the breaks have gone apart from in front of the king. Special sacrifices. We're not doing that. We could attack their bishop, but then our pawn is probably going to be taken at some point. Takes pawns here, stopping the king, so the knight moves somewhere. Could actually move there, couldn't it? Ooh. Move there so the king can come and get the pawn. So, just of an interest as it is, it's not going to be very good. It just opens stuff up. This pawn doesn't have any protection on it. Obviously the bishop can come and defend. How do we get to it? Knight needs to be here, so if we went like that to go here, then we're attacking the pawn. Let's go with that. Rook's moved down a bit quick there, hasn't it? It's kind of blocked the bishop from being able to defend that pawn. What is it? Oh, maybe the bishop. No, because it can't go here. Bring the knight up and attack the pawn. Maybe he didn't see the bishop was protecting the pawn. That's why he moved the rook dead quick there. Oh, the knight's defending. Didn't see that. So we could take and we'll get a pawn. Yes, I think that works, doesn't it? Anything else? I think that works. Take the knight. Bishop takes. Knight takes the pawn on the bishop and the pawn. Bishop moves out of the way because it's saying I'm not getting taken. But we would be up a pawn. Is it crucial? I think we're taking. Knight can jump in here attacking the rook just to give them something to think about. Trying to get ownership of this. What the days is happening? It's weird when they just don't do what you expect them to do. So I'm going to attack the bishop. We already wanted to own the file. Now we're going to have to bounce back again. Because there, the pawn can take him. So our knight has not got any defense on. Ouch! So we take, his rook takes. Didn't reckon on any of that, did we? Okay, if we move the knight, then his bishop's still under pressure because his rook is stopping the bishop from moving. Just that, it would be able to go there. The knight moves. We could attack their bishop. Attack the bishop. He's not going to go there because the pawn will take him. So the bishop just moves. It just moves there. Knight doesn't have a safe place to go. Bishop moves. Rook takes the bishop. Rook comes across, attacks the knight. Also, the knight can come back here, can't it? I'm going to attack the bishop. Oh, sacrifice is going on. What's the deal? Am I missing stuff? I think they've had enough, haven't they? Got to check on the king here. But the bishop's going to take the knight. Ah! Oh dear. Okay, so we're up the exchange. That doesn't mean you've won anything though, does it? We've seen stranger things happen. Alright, okay. I was thinking of bringing the bishop here and attacking their bishop. Well, this is weird. Feels weird. Okay, let's bring the bishop and see if we can follow that line. Doesn't have to. Oh, they've resigned. Nice one. Let's have a look at the analysis on that one. Lockdown City it was. Right, let's go. Let's have a look. Drawish, yeah. Right, this is the area, isn't it, that we're focusing on. Them pushing pawns down, attacking, us not getting bent out of shape over that. But I just need to check to make sure that we should have been or not. It's only in the minus 0 points at the minute, so I don't think there's nothing to worry about there. Drawish, yeah. Looking for anything major. Right, it's happy with the pawn push. Well, it likes the condensation of the position. See, that's fairly happy. Really happy. Nice one. Yes. So that was the last game. So 3 advantage games, 1 disadvantage game. That can't be bad, but as we say, taking it with a pinch of salt. All I'm doing with these exercises is trying to change my mindset in terms of how I approach over the board games, and I want to put that into these games. And as we've seen, as we started to get warmed up into it, it starts to get a little bit more drier in terms of not capturing pieces per se, locking down pieces where necessary. And that's the type of thing I need to bring into the actual over the board play games. And so you have to choose the moments to double pawn or not to double pawn. As we've shown as well in our recent exercises, it's not always a real weakness. You can turn it into a strength so long as you're aware of it and you've got things that you can do to help support it throughout the game towards the end game. Good practice session today. We'll do some more in the build up to the actual tournament.